Hi everyone, let's talk about something you have all experienced that affected your personal life. That's right, we are talking about projects. You may think projects only exist in the corporate world, but that's not the case. Actually, they're all around us. And today we're going to understand what they are. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're talking about something that is close to my heart, which is projects. This channel is all about project management, business, and data analysis. So let's find out what are these projects. You may ask, why do we care about the projects in your personal life? The problem is we don't treat projects in our personal life the same way as in our professional life. And disregarding projects may cause you hassle and stress because you book the wrong things, you buy things you don't really need. But don't worry, that's probably not your fault. It's just you didn't know how to recognize the project. So in today's video, we're going to explore characteristics that define a project. To make it more interesting, we're going to use real-life examples and my trip to Japan to see and identify when we have a project on our hands. Before we can understand what the project is, we need to understand what the project is not, which is your business as usual activities. In your personal life, that would be something like watching YouTube, brushing your teeth, making your meals before going to bed, for example. These activities sustain your current living standards. They neither improve them nor decrease them. And this becomes kind of your habits as well. In the corporate world, that will be something like producing the same product day in, day out, and then maybe selling this product and collecting payments. And there'll be a process to collect those payments, which will also be a your activity. Well, the project is something different. It has 5 elements that we're going to discuss to understand what it is. First, project is a distinct piece of work, which means distinct from your business usual activities, which we just discussed. Project aims to reach new objectives, to improve your current living standards or your business situation. Normally, it's constrained by 6 constraints: cost, scope, timelines, quality, risk, and resources. In your personal life, that could be buying a house or a car. It's distinct from things we discussed like YouTube and brushing your teeth. You might be buying a house once in a lifetime, or car maybe twice or 3 times during your lifetime. And normally you do a lot of research, prepared plans, make sure you have budget to fulfill these objectives and goals, buying a house and a car. In your business situation, there might be a new product. Maybe the market has shifted, you can no longer produce the same product day in, day out, you need to create something new. Maybe an electric car, for example. Second, projects is a unique activity, something that hasn't been done in the past. Some routine activities, like, for example, buying an iPhone, might sound like just a daily thing, but it's actually a project. Because your preferences and your circumstances and your budgets have changed since last time you bought an iPhone. So, for example, you're upgrading from iPhone 7 to the newest model, iPhone 12, and you know from your experience probably by this time that the prices are going up on iPhones. And there are better cameras in some other phones, and there are very good Android phones. So your situation has shifted. Your situation is unique from what you had in the past. And now you need to consider all these other alternatives. In the corporate world, it's kind of similar. Let's say the corporation wants to buy laptops. 5 years ago, they were buying PCs. Now they're buying laptops. It's just a computer, a computing power. But the security threats are different. Laptops need to be lighter, some people working from home, and that makes a unique situation now, a new project. 3. Projects are temporary activity, which means they have a very specific starting point and ending point. The reason these are temporary because businesses allocate various resources to realize a certain value, to reach a certain objective, and after the project is finished, business needs to redistribute these resources to other parts of the business, maybe to their business as usual activities. For example, you might be organizing a wedding, or you had the chance to do that in the past, and you know that approximately when you should be starting these planning processes for the wedding, and of course you know the final date. This period will be your project timeline, and it will be temporary, which will be resulting in your final beautiful wedding day. In the corporate world, for example, you have a bookstore that only has brick and mortar shop. And in today's world, because of COVID, not many people had a chance to go in these usual brick and mortar shops. So now you need to build quickly your website to continue selling your books. And as a result, you want to have this temporary activity, this project, to build this website as soon as possible to start realizing value and selling again books to your customers. 4. Project has a distinct delivery at the end of this. In your personal life, that could be maybe a new language you want to learn and you take classes, a project to learn it. In the business world, maybe that could be a new product you want to sell to the market. But the point of this is that you take a certain steps, a certain planning steps, a certain execution steps to deliver this at the end of this and realize value. In our previous example, that also was our beautiful wedding day. Now, maybe let's look in some other examples that help you to understand what are these deliveries. For example, you want to buy a car. You take certain steps, you plan it out. You, for example, look into what are used cars, what are new cars, what are new features, how much it costs. Maybe you need some funding from the bank. And after you've done all those steps, you can go to the dealer shop or to individual sellers and start looking for the car to buy. And eventually, maybe you will drive out with the new beautiful car. In the corporate world, let's say you want to install a new accounting system. You go into the market, there are many providers out there for the small businesses, for the medium businesses. You need to decide and take steps to understand what fits best to your business model and your maybe staff count or experience in accounting. And with that, you can buy the accounting system and have it installed in your business area. And that will be your delivery. 5. Project has very clear objective or objectives at the end of this. Normally, you don't start a project just for fun. Except if it is your objective, of course. In your personal life, that might be very clear. Your goal might be very clear. If you need to work from home, you have some troubles with your back, maybe you need to buy a chair, you go to the market, you do a little project, select some, sit in some, and buy your chair. In the corporate world, things are a little bit more complicated. You need to record your goals, you need to have sign-offs, get budget, be eventually accountable for those goals at the end. For example, you decided to create a concert in your local bar. That is your objective, or your objective could be to increase the happiness in your community. You go to a bar owner, you go to a local band, you agree best time, ticket price, all that, and eventually you achieve both of those objectives. In the corporate world, it's somewhat similar. So let's say your objective is to increase sales. That could be one project or multiple projects that will achieve this result. Let's say you decided to upgrade your CRM system, a system that allows you to track customers' data and various communication you had. So now you have a project. You need to achieve those objectives we just discussed. So I know I only spoke about 5 criteria to define what is a project, but there are 2 additional ones that could help you to decide that it is actually a project you're dealing with. One is that you normally have cross-functional teams in one project. Normally the project is between various different departments, so maybe risk, finance, some IT department for data, and you need individuals from each of these departments to help you out. In your personal life, maybe you have your parents helping you to buy a car, and therefore it also is likely a project. Also, you have a second criteria, which is risk. All projects deal with certain level of unknown. You're creating a new thing. You're trying to go into new territory. Therefore, you automatically have uncertainties. In the business, maybe they could create a new product and they don't know if the new product would succeed. In the personal life, maybe you're buying a house and you don't know if you're going to get a good house. The point is that, brushing your teeth is certain. You watching YouTube every evening, you know where to find it, it's certain. Producing the same product day in, day out, it's certain. But project, it's something that you don't know yet. And you're trying to find out through this project activities and your plan. Finally, we came to our example, trip to Japan. Let's find out if it was indeed a project. In 2018, me and my better half decided to visit this beautiful country and explore their culture. we decided to treat it as a project. Let's see if we're right. First of all, let's ask ourselves, was it a distinct activity? Yeah, I think it was. I mean, it's different than brushing teeth, and definitely I'm not planning trips to Japan every day. Was it unique? Yeah, I think it was unique. Traveling now is much more difficult than traveling in 2018 because of the COVID restrictions. Was it temporary? When I had to plan a trip to Japan, we had to take a couple months back to plan all the flights, all the destinations, buy all the tickets, and eventually, through a period of time, we get to our trip. But eventually, project finished when we had our experience, so it was temporary. Does it have a delivery at the end of this? Yeah, it did. Our trip to Japan, where we had our experiences and we brought a lot of photos and memories from there. Did it have an objective? Yes, it did have a very clear objective. We want to have this lifetime experience that we can talk about the way in the future. So you may ask yourself, so what? It was a project, but how does it change your life, knowing that it is a project? Well, if you do have something very important to you, like a trip to a place you have never been and you're really keen to do that, you might want to consider it as not just as something that will happen by itself, but take certain steps like you would apply in project management to make sure it's a success. So for example, instead of actually having a to-do list, what you need to do to organize this trip, you might want to have a timeline where you put exactly where you're going to do those things. Instead of hoping that people help you to achieve your trip or your goals or in your endeavor, you might want to manage them. You want to align their interests to yours. Maybe you want to talk about your objectives so they may be more keen to help you. So managing your activities, your endeavors as a project it just ensures that they are much more successful and more likely gonna get that value you seek. If you like this video, do subscribe to my YouTube channel. I will release more videos in the future. I also have a blog where you can read about project management. And if you like videos where we can apply project management to day-to-day lives, do comment below and I'll try to create topics similar to this. So see you in the next video and thanks for watching.